So it's been a while since I've read the Diary of a Wimpy Kid Rodrick fanfic. I read it for Pride Month, but then a year later I never read it again. So I'm gonna continue it, and if anyone likes this, I can make a part 3. Okay. Thursday. It wasn't until the morning when I realized Rodrick didn't know Manny was the one who showed Dad the photos. Before Rodrick went to school, I had to quickly explain everything because I didn't want him to hate me anymore.
I'm sorry. I didn't give them the photos. I was Manny. I tried to stop him.
Surprisingly, he forgave me, but I think it was because he was going to be late for class if he didn't leave right away. I'm glad it went over smoothly, but now I got to do his laundry for a month. When I was walking to school with Rowley, I told him everything that happened, and guess what? He started crying.
It's such a beautiful story about love and acceptance.
His blubbering was kind of annoying, but I think him getting dramatic proves I'm a good storyteller. I'm glad everything worked out in the end because it all could have ended very badly for the whole family. I also asked the bitch why he would show Dad the photos, and he started crying about Rodrick not letting him eat his Takis. I don't know why he would do that all this for some Takis, because I don't think anyone should be eating those radioactive sticks, let alone a 3-year-old. Thursday. Everything was going good for about 2 weeks. We didn't really see much of Jerry, but I don't blame him. If I caused a big fight between my girlfriend and her dad, I wouldn't want to come hang around their house either. Today when Rodrick came home from school, Mom told him he wanted to invite Jerry and his parents over for dinner tomorrow. Rodrick tried to shoot down the idea real quick, but Mom was already making plans. I wasn't so stoked on this idea either, because the last time I talked with Jerry, I was threatening him with a photo of him kissing my brother.
We should have your boyfriend and his family over for dinner Friday. I want to meet him.
When we were eating, Mom told Dad about her plan. I was kind of hoping Dad would say something, but he was actually on board. I was surprised to say the least, but then I realized he probably just wanted to see what Rodrick's boyfriend was like so he can judge him. I wonder how Jerry will dress for this, because if it's like any of Rodrick's other friends, I don't think Dad will be too happy. Friday. We had to clean all afternoon yesterday because Mom was wanting to impress our guests. Roger kept saying Jerry wouldn't care and this whole thing wasn't necessary, but Mom wasn't having it. She even made this fancy dish with asparagus, which I hate. It's time like these that I wish we still had a dog so I could feed the food I didn't want to eat. Mom even made us dress nicely because it was an important event. It was all around this time that I could tell Roger was getting stressed out. I asked him what was wrong, and he said he was worried about our family being weird, especially me. I guess Mom overheard us and she got mad at Roger. She said sorry if we were embarrassing, but we shouldn't call our family weird.
Wow, delicious!
She told us to hurry because Jerry's family was coming in 10 minutes. I was almost done, but Manny was causing trouble. He didn't want to put his nice shirt on because he was saving it for later. Mom tried to tell him it was just trash it, but he was not budging.
We're doing the best we can.
Mom ended up having to put on a sweater on top of his stained dinosaur t-shirt. To make matters worse, the asparagus dish needed 15 more minutes to cook, and we only had 3 minutes until they arrived. Then we heard the doorbell ring. We all scrambled to finish dressing up, and Dad threw on a trash bag in the backyard. We were all a little frazzled, but I think Mom put up a good front. Mom told him it would be about 10 minutes until the food is done, and they could come in and live in the living room and talk. When they came in, I noticed that they had another kid. It was a girl about the same age as Manny. Mom didn't give Manny a heads up about another toddler showing up, so he was not happy. Rodrick and I had to greet Miss and Mr. Misa, and while it was awkward for me, I can't imagine how he was feeling.
This is our daughter Nellie. Her and Manny can be friends.
See, even when I do marry Holly Hills and make friends with her parents, I'll never want to bring up the time we first met. Eventually, the food was ready and all sat down to eat. Even though Roger was sitting next to Jerry, he didn't look like he was having a good time. Mom and Dad were talking to Mr. and Mrs. Misa about taxes and gas prices.
And he was sweating so much I could see it on his shirt.
I didn't really understand what was going on, but at least they weren't watching me put all my asparagus from the plate onto Nellie's. Then, the conversation moved over to them talking about us kids. Adults really need to understand that we do not want to talk about our school outside of school, but I guess they didn't have any other idea of what to ask. Then, Dad started asking Jerry some questions like where he and Rodrick met and how many times he'd been in detention, if he likes metal music. I think he was checking if Jerry was going to be a bad influence on Rodrick, but Jerry's parents are the ones who should be worried about that.
Are you in any school clubs?
No.
The conversation, or more like the interrogation, wasn't really going anywhere, but then there was a shriek.
What are your weaknesses, boy?
I don't know.
the dumb bitch had thrown one of his dinosaur chicken nuggets at Nellie. Mom was about to apologize for him, but then Nellie got up and slapped Manny, and then a whole brawl started. Miss Mesa tried to pry her off, but she was not let go. Then Mom tried to coax Manny to stop, but that wasn't working either.
Mom's method of stopping Manny wasn't working. After about a minute of this, Jerry decided to take things into his own hands. And they listened.
You guys stop! I'm very disappointed in you! Okay, mijo.
It turns out Manny actually bonded with Jerry the night I was locked in my room. He and Nellie liked him so much that they listened to anything he says. Mom and Dad were impressed, to say the least.
It's good for Rodrick that Mom and Dad liked Jerry, but Jerry's parents hadn't had much of a good impression on him. This whole time, Rodrick's been eating the pasta. He even got seconds while Nellie was biting Manny. Rodrick told me he didn't intervene because he got to eat the whole day, and he was hungry, but he didn't think Miss Misa would take that as a good excuse.
After that, everyone wrapped up dinner, and Mom made everyone take a photo together. It would have been nice if we weren't still so messed up. And then, surprisingly, Mom asked Jerry to babysit Manny next Saturday. Maybe this gay thing might help me out after all. Okay, I finished it. But if you guys want, like, a part 3, just comment down and I will do it. But recently, I just haven't been posting on YouTube because I've kind of, like, lost interest in posting, and I don't really like YouTube that much anymore. I transferred to TikTok more than anything. But, yeah. I may just start a whole new account. I actually really don't know. But, yeah, this is, like, the end of part 2. So,